Hi everyone, I'm Taluka from Markers and Minions, and welcome to episode 5 of Design with Me. So today we're going to be designing some digital interactive math slides, and also I'm going to show you how to make a corresponding Google form quiz that has embedded visuals, so it's a little bit more student friendly, and that self-grades, which we all need right now. So we'll be making one slide together, and then we'll be making a very short quiz together. And that will be it for today's lesson. So if you're here, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something that I can see fly across my screen so that I know I'm not alone here. All right, and also before I jump into designing, I want to remind you all that today is, let me share my screen. Today is the last day of the TPT sale. So everything is 25% off on my TPT store and then 30% off on markersandminions.com. And you have to use this code up here, BTS20, and then it will deduct the discount for you. And I also want to point out that I created a shop by grade level category here, custom category. So that's one way, easy way to filter. You can also filter by benchmark advance if that's what you are into, or you can filter by any of these digital categories down here at the bottom. Okay, and the math slides that we're going to be putting together today, I have them completed for third grade, almost all the standards, and I made a special bundle for third grade math slide standards here. It's technically a growing bundle because I still need to add in a few of the final standards. And then I have them started for second grade. So at the moment, that's all I have. I get a lot of questions around that. But yes, I will be finishing third and second and then moving on to fourth. And then if I can handle fifth grade math, I will do fifth grade as well. Okay, so let me show you what the math slides look like, the ones that I have. The ones that we're going to be designing today, I'm going to actually change the design just a little bit because if you've been following along with me the last few episodes, you'll know that like this is the typical design that I like to do for all of my resources for consistency with the same kind of colors, the block heading up at the top. So I figured we'd try something new for all of you. And I just bought some new they were made in Procreate, like ink swatches. They look really cute. I just bought some clip art, so that kind of inspired me to switch it up as well. So this is kind of what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be creating these interactive math slides that involve pieces that you can actually drag and drop and that you can actually like type into as well. So I'll show you how to create drag and drop movable pieces and then text boxes where students can actually type. And I can't find an example in this one of like a text box, but I'll show you how to make it so that the students know exactly where to type. And we're also going to make sure that the background is flattened so that, like for example, students can't move this part of my slide. All they can do is move the graphics or the clip art that we create. And then after that, we'll create a form that looks like this. So see how there's embedded visuals here? So it's a little bit, like I said, more student friendly. You can either embed visuals in the actual question area or in the answer area. And I'll show you how to do both. So we'll make a very brief quiz together at the end. All right, so we're going to be working in PowerPoint today, and then you can always very easily convert your PowerPoint to Google Slides, which is what I did here. But to get us started, let's open up a blank PowerPoint. Actually, yeah, let's do this. So I like to create templates. First of all, let me backtrack. And so whenever I create a new PowerPoint, I click on New from Template. And then you'll see that I have all of these pre-made templates just ready for me to go. Today, I started a new one here that's called Swatches, Elements, and Fonts. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. And so I like this because I found this idea on Instagram. Someone shared that if you create a master template that has all of the colors that you love to use regularly, or if you find a color palette that you really like and you want to kind of save it for later in the back of your mind, put it onto a Google slide or a PowerPoint template, and then you'll be able to grab, using your eyedropper tool or the hex code even, you'll be able to grab that specific color when you're making a new resource. And then I took it a step further and I added in like elements. So I told you all I bought these little doodles and swatches today on a website called Creative Market, if any of you are into this kind of thing as well. And so I just have this ready to go. So when I'm creating something, I can just copy paste from this main slide. And then I just chose a couple of fun fonts here, but if you have favorite fonts, you can kind of get them ready to go here. And that way, when you're creating, all you have to do is copy that, paste it onto your slide, adjust the kerning and the sizing, the color and all that, and then it's ready. So what I did first was I opened up my template. See that here with my color swatches? And by the way, I just made tables. So each little rectangle, I went to table design. And then take a look up here. This is where you color in your tables. So I just went to shading, more fill colors, and I filled them up with a color palette. And you can Pinterest it, you can Google it, and then you just kind of grab the color that you see and that you like by clicking on more fill colors, taking that eyedropper tool, and then you can drag and drop it anywhere. So if I have Chrome up, I can just grab a color that way. Or if I know the hex code, I can put it right in there. And so I just got these preloaded ready for me. So these are my brand colors right down here. And then now when I'm working on this slide, all I need to do is adjust this color by going to shape fill. And then if it's already here, just choose it from there, or more fill colors. Let's see if it lets me grab it. Yeah, see? So I just go to my main slide and I say okay, I actually want this color. Done. Okay, so it's kind of a neat little trick there. So this is what we're going to be making. As you can see, I've changed the style just a little bit to try something new with you all. The fonts that I used are, let's see, Chalkful, K-A Chalkful, AG Taco Tuesday, and I think that's it. Oh, and then this one is KG Neatly Printed. So let me zoom, actually, let's do this. I didn't use these two. This was AG Taco Tuesday, and I'm going to make this big for you all just so you can take a screenshot of it if you want to go get these fonts. These are all on TPT, and they're 25% off today. So this comes with a really fun font bundle. Kristen's KA fonts, hers comes with a really fun font bundle. And then this one is the KG Neatly Printed. Hers are free. Okay, so Neatly Printed. They're free unless you want to use them for commercial use, then you buy a license. Okay, so those are my 3 fonts we're using today. Now, what I did first was I set up my slide template with the dimensions of the slide, and I love to work in 11 by 8.5, so that horizontal slide size. By default, it'll open up to presentation size, which is I think 16 by 9. You can keep it at that if you never intend to print this out, but I like to, just in case, work in 11 by 8.5 or 8.5 by 11, just in case I ever want to print one of these guys out someday. So the way we do that is we go to Design. Up here, you're going to click on Slide Size, Page Setup, and then you'll put in your inches right there, and then you'll get your slide. So I'm going to start with a blank one here. So your template should look like this. So step one, everybody, let's take a shape and let's create a nice little simple border. I'm going to take a rectangle and I'm going to drag it all over my slide here. And let me actually zoom in for you all. I'm going to make the inside transparent, so no fill. And my outside line is going to be black. And I'm going to keep it thin. I like how that looks for today. Now the next step is to put in our title. So for my heading, I'm going to take my chalk full. I'm going to copy and paste it. And I actually don't want it with spacing. I wrote myself a note here saying with spacing, meaning I made it like looser, but I'm going to switch it to normal. And I'm going to write my title, nearest 10 sort. So I'm making a rounding resource. And I chose this for the design with me because a lot of second and third graders start with rounding in the beginning of the year. So might as well make something we can use. All right, and then I just found one of these elements that I loved from Creative Market that I purchased. And I put it underneath. Let's resize it a little bit. And you can leave it like that. You can put it behind this. So let's layer it, let's say center back. And then it kind of looks like it's going behind. You can also just do this with a rectangle. So let's say I don't have an element that I purchased on Creative Market. Let's just use like one of these. And I really like it when it looks like it's coming off the page. Okay, you could do something like that, or maybe even take it all the way. That might look cute too. Oh, let's try that. All right, and let's make it, let's just grab that color, make it the same color. And then we're also going to make sure that there's no outline on this, and then we're going to send it to the back. So no outline. Let's see how that looks. Yes, cute, loving it. All right, now I'm still going to put my directions up here. And I'm going to just grab it here, and that's again KG neatly printed. And I'll drag it. Okay, round each number to the nearest 10, drag the number into the correct box. So just if you're designing with me at the moment, just copy this. We'll make the exact same slide, but then, you know, next time you can change it to whatever you'd like it to be. All right, I kind of want this to float also. Let me just play around for a second. I didn't prepare for this, but let me play around for a sec. Let's say I fill this with white and then I make it opaque. It's kind of weird. Or I can lift this up. Because I don't like it. I don't like how it looks with like one of these floating down and the other one not. Just kind of make that a little more spaced out evenly. Okay, cute enough. Good for now. All right, now what I'm going to do is create this little number sort thing. So I chose, this is actually from one of my third grade packs, and I just changed all the fonts and everything, and then the colors. But so I have these numbers already set up, so go ahead and use the same ones. But first what we're going to do is create these little boxes, and what I did for these was I just made a shape. So instead of copying and pasting, I'm going to walk you through it. Let's do insert, shape. Let's make a rectangle. Okay, that's pretty good. We're going to fill it with white. We'll outline it with whatever color. I want it thicker than that though, so I'm going to go back to my shape outline color and go to weight and say like 1. Yeah, that looks good. Let's do that. So now I want 8 boxes. So I'm gonna do my top row first. And let's see if I can space these out pretty evenly on my slide. Okay, so did you see these little guides here? I talk about these a lot in every video, but these really, really help. See these little red arrows in between? That just means that they're evenly distributed. There's an even amount of space between each of these rectangles. So now I'll grab these and I will together and I'll kind of try to center them. That looks pretty good. So I'll let go. And then I'm just gonna copy these exact 4 things. They're already all clicked. So I'm gonna do Command or Control C and then V to paste. And then I'm gonna drag it down, and I would like to make that space in the middle there about the same as what's going vertically, the vertical lines. So that looks pretty good to me. Okay, and I think there's maybe a little bit more space up here. That's not a big deal. Look here, let's do that. That looks good. And the next step is to go in and add text boxes for each of the numbers. So the way you do that is you click on your text box tool, drag it from one edge to the other edge, one corner to the other corner. Then we're going to center that text. You can vertically align it too, so like middle align, so it's right in the middle of your text box. Adjust your font, your size, and your color. And what I'm going to do is just grab these numbers that I already have, and then I'll have to reposition them because my boxes are a little bit larger. So while you're putting in your numbers, I'll reposition mine. I want to make sure they're centered, so corner to corner. And I'm also using my arrow tools for teeny tiny little nudges. See these tools here? Or maybe they're on like the side of your keyboard. But those are helpful in PowerPoint. In Google Slides, when you click an arrow, it like nudges really far away. But on PowerPoint, the arrow key, look at this, like teeny tiny little nudges there. So I really like to use that to be really precise. Now that these top 4 are in place, I can try to, line them up. See that? So there's a little guideline there that's showing me that the 410 is in line with the 150. And I'm just gonna drop it right in place. Okay. So now what we'll do is take little shapes to create these buttons, right? So we want to make these little number buttons here so that the kids have these movable elements that they can drag and drop. So the way that I made these is I went to the shape tool and I got this rounded rectangle and went like this. So I want it to be able to fit into this box pretty nicely. So that looks good to me. Maybe like that. That's pretty cute. Okay. And then I'm going to adjust the outline color and the fill color. So let's go to my fill up here. And I think actually what I did for this, because I have the swatches, is I took this and I put it over here first. And then I just went to my fill color and then I grabbed using my eyedropper. Let's use different colors today. Let's use this one and no outline. And then we'll copy paste that and then let's choose a cool color. Maybe my little minty. Yeah, that's cute. That makes me happy. Okay, let's grab those, X them, cut them, paste them. And now that we have our 2 main colors, we're going to click on the text box tool, click right in the center of your rectangle, and then start typing your numbers. Okay, what did I do? 181, 148. Okay. 181. And then we're going to highlight this and make it the different font. What did I use? That one. That looks good. I'm going to make it nice and big, and I'll bold it. And maybe even add some loose kerning. So the kerning is the spacing in between your characters. So I'll take that, copy, and text box here, paste, adjust the sizing to match the other one. 48, is it? 44. And then the other number was 148. All right, so now you'll take these, you'll highlight both of them, select them, copy, paste them, and then you can highlight all these, copy, paste those, oops, drag those down, and then highlight all those, because I don't remember how many I have, but anyway, that's not important. So you just copy, paste them, and then go in and adjust the numbers. Once you're happy with all of the numbers that the kids will sort, you want to save everything as images, because we don't want A, our fonts to change when they open up on a different computer, and B, we don't want the kids to be able to accidentally change this or this or this or change these numbers here. So what we're going to do is first grab each of these little movable elements, and this is where it gets a little bit tedious. That's why it takes me hours and hours and hours to make these math slides. Everything that you want the kids to be able to drag and drop that has a special font, you want to save as an image. And even honestly, an image is easier for the kids' fingers to manipulate than shapes are. So even if you just did like a fun little star shape that you want the kids to be able to move, it's still helpful, at least in my opinion, to save that as an image. And then the kids are moving that. So what I'm going to do is right click, and then I'm going to scroll down to Save as Picture. And then I'll just give it a number as the title. So I'll say 181, and my computer's real slow, sorry about that. So it's thinking about it, thinking really hard. 181, and I'm going to save it to my desktop, and then I'm also going to make sure that it's a PNG. So PNG is higher quality than a JPEG, and it also has a transparent background. So we'll save. Then I will delete this, and then I'll find it on my desktop. It's right here, I see it, and I'm going to drag it over here and drop it, and there's my image now. Okay, if you don't like the extra space here, which is not a big deal, but if you don't like that, you can always just crop out that extra space, but it doesn't make a difference to the kids when they're in terms of like being able to move it around. Okay, so now they're just going to be able to drag and drop it nice and easily, and this font is not going to change, is not going to change once it's on their computer. Whereas like this one, which is still just a shape, that will change. It'll default to like Calibri or Arial or a Google font. Now we want to do the same thing as the background here. So what I'm going to do is click on File, Export, and I'm going to change this actually to a PNG. So by default, PowerPoint thinks that you want to export to PDF, which a lot of the times we do, but for right now, we want PNG. And then you have the option to save every slide in your deck or just the current slide that you're working on. So if you are building a whole slide deck full of these really fun interactive math slides, save every single one all at once, and it'll save in a nice folder for you. But for today's purposes, we're just going to do Save Current Slide, and I'm not going to mess with the dimensions here, and I'm just going to title it Slide 5. And saving to my desktop, export. All right, now let's do a blank slide, and we're going to set that exported PNG as the background. So we'll click on Design, Format Background, Picture, we'll insert it. Here it is, slide 5. And now it's the background and it cannot move around. And then you're gonna do the same thing. You're just gonna take all of these guys that are already exported, and you're just gonna put them onto your new slide on the side here where you've got this like workable mat. So I'm just gonna take these ones because I made these all images already. We'll paste them there. And then the kids, all they have to do is with their finger or with their mouse, drag and drop. And then it's always helpful to include an answer key. So I had one for this first one that I made here, just so the kids can check their own work or parents can check their work. And then what I like to do also is include on the answer key page a section here where the kids can write any notes to you, where they can say what was confusing, anything that they struggled with, or anything they might have a question about. Okay, now let's go back to my PowerPoint real quickly. Over here, down at the bottom here, I took a couple of these buttons and I started trying to think about, well, how would I assess this? How would I put this on a quiz, a Google form quiz? So these slides are great for practice, right? Either independently or with a parent or a sibling. But then you're going to want to be able to assess that knowledge somehow. So what I did was I took these two buttons, right? I blew them up, and now I want to take a screenshot because I want these actual two buttons side by side to look like that on my Google form quiz, because I like it better when there's actual images. You could certainly just type the question, right? Which was what? Round both of these numbers to the nearest 10. What number do they round to? And then just type 148 and 152. But I think it's a little bit more visually appealing for everybody when you have these elements in there. So I'm gonna screenshot. Oh yes, my sushi's here. All right, this is gonna save to my desktop. And then we're gonna create a new form. So can I do this? Forms.new, let's see. Or do I have to go to my drive? No. Form. Okay, so let's add in that image. And I want it in the question section. So my question is going to be round both of these numbers to the nearest 10. Copy paste that. Don't end your questions with a preposition, but it's okay. And then we're going to attach that image. And it's on my desktop as a screenshot, right? There it is. Drag it and drop it. It'll turn blue to tell you it's ready. Okay, and there it is. Look how cute that is. All right, and now you'll put in your answer. So let's say, what do these round to? Come on, computer. We can do this. Are you gonna let me? Oh, multiple choice. That's it. Okay, we're gonna change it to multiple choice, and then we'll put in our answer. So let's say 140, 160, 155, and 150. Okay, so now we're gonna set the correct answer. We're gonna make this self-grading. So, why am I drawing a blank right now? I'm really distracted by my sushi order that just came in. Hello. Let me go to my settings here. I've only made about 2,000 of these. Answer key. Settings. Do I have to do that first? We always want to collect email addresses to the kids. Quizzes. Thank you. So make this a quiz. So in our settings, we're going to select that. And then also you can decide if you want the kids to be able to see their grade right away. So you can say immediately, so as soon as they click submit, then their score will come up, or later after you review it manually. But if you have everything set to like a multiple choice quiz where there's just really only one or a few right answers, there's no short answer that requires them to type, then you can just give them the quiz score right away. Okay, so let's save this. And now I have the option to add in my answer key. So I'm going to click on answer key, and I'm going to say that this is worth 1 point because there's only one possible right answer. If you're doing something that's like 2 points or 3 points, instead of choosing the multiple choice answer choices, choose check boxes so they can select more than one. So this is going to be my correct answer. And then I'm going to add answer feedback. Now here's the cool part. You can decide if you want the feedback to pop up when they get it correct or when they get it incorrect, So in my Google Form quizzes that go with all of my digital math slides, I have it so that they get feedback whenever there is an incorrect answer, okay? And I just have an explanation there saying like either it explains why these are wrong or why these are right, okay? So it's just some kind of built-in feedback for the kids. And what's also neat is if you wanted to, you could hyperlink a link to like a review sheet or a video lesson or something if you wanted them to follow up on that incorrect answer. But I think keeping it simple is nice too. So just incorrect answers, you just say like, oops, it's not 140 because this, it's not 160 because this, it's not 155 because this, it's 150 because this, okay? And then that will pop up if they get it wrong. If they get it right, forget it. They can keep moving on. All right, now we're gonna say done. And the other neat thing is you could reverse this too. Let me see if I have an example. So in this case, I did the question just text, but then my answer choices were little pictures. So you can do that as well. So in this case, I did the question was visual, answer choices were not. Or you could do just pictures everywhere. You can attach a ton of things right here. Now, if you're using Google Forms, a quick tip, and if you are assigning this on Google Classroom, you'll want to make sure that this is the only attachment in your Google Classroom assignment. Because when you attach your form and you attach something else and you say complete this quiz and then the student goes and completes it, you will not see the option to automatically import the grades into your Google Classroom gradebook. It has to be assigned as a standalone quiz, and then it'll be able to sync right up. So then the scores automatically go into your gradebook, which is awesome. If you're not using Google Classroom and you need to see your kids' scores, you'll click on responses. I thought I had some here, but I guess not. You'll click on responses and you'll be able to see 20, 25 responses. And then you'll be able to see an overall summary, or you can see individual responses as well. You can export this so that you can look at your data. You can see exactly what you need to reteach, what you need to spend more time on, or what the kids understand. Okay, so that is how to make math slides with corresponding Google Form quizzes. Let me go back to here. All right. And I hope you enjoyed it. This was episode 5. Next week, what we're going to be doing is creating a pretty spreadsheet. In fact, I can sneak peek. I can show you what it looks like. This was a freebie. It's on my Instagram. If you go to markersandminions on Instagram, you'll see my story highlights. If you click on design tips, I think it is, or digital tips, that highlight button, go all the way to one of my last ones, and then you'll see this spreadsheet that I'm going to pull up and show you, and it'll be the copy link, so you can grab a copy of it. And then next week, for next week's Design with Me, I will show you how to make something like this on Google Sheets. Okay? These are really cute because you can check them right off. And they're colorful and pretty. All right. So that's next week. And remember, today's the last day of the TPT sale. Everything's 25% off, including those math slides. If you teach second or third grade, I've got them for you. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for joining me.